And then when I came back to America, the first thing that was presented to me that was available for me to get involved in and try to help was something that, again, was pretty impossible. A movie called Sling Blade, which was a young writer, actor, Billy Bob Thornton, client of the agency. He'd made a short of the film, really wanted to direct a feature of it himself, wanted to star in it. And so I reverted back to my old self in terms of making low budget movies and said to him, I'm going to figure out a way for you to make this for $750,000. I know that you're going to say, how can you make a movie that way? But I'm going to show you how to do it. Because I've made films for that kind of budget. And if you're going to star in it, we shouldn't make this for too much money. We should make it for a price that makes sense. And then I went to New York to see a production company that had been making little low-budget movies and were sort of my competitors in a way in New York City, the company called Shooting Gallery. And I went to them and said, Truce, I'm an agent now. We're not competing anymore. I want to work with you. I admire what you guys have done in the past. You guys helped me figure out how to pull this together. And I said to Billy Bob, is there any stars that you know? Is there anyone that we could get into this film that you know of and that are stars? And he goes, I think I could get a cameo as a favor from Robert Duvall. And I go, get him. And that actually led to something else where they did the reverse favor for each other. But so we made the movie actually for $830,000. Wow. And when it was done, I saw it and I was like, this is unbelievable. And so then the producers of the Shooting Gallery was, how do we sell it? I said, let's organize a big screening, we'll invite everybody to it. And then that's what happened, and we created a huge bidding war that night. And I ended up selling it to Miramax, when Harvey Weinstein still owned Miramax, who was like the Wizard of Oz to me. I didn't really know him very well, for $10 million. And the agency suddenly turned around because they couldn't believe that that's what we sold the movie for, because it only cost $800,000. They had set up the independent film department as a vanity in a way, so they could go around telling everyone, oh, we got a guy that handles independent films for us. And when they saw how much we sold the movie for and what we could, the kind of business that we could create making movies, they were like, okay, Cassian, we would like to sign you up for another 2 years on your contract. And that was literally, 2 months into the job, which I didn't understand at the time. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that I'm going to have a job for 2 more years. And I signed a contract for the same amount they paid me, which was actually, in a way, they kind of ripped me off. But I don't have any regrets about that. I had an amazing experience at William Morris. And then later on, when Robert Duvall was going to sign up at the agency about a year later, he had a project that he had been trying to make for 10 years called The Apostle. And he came and said, look, I know all about you, and you got to help me make my movie, and you got to do it, and how do I do it? And I said, you should finance it with your own money. And I got a huge kick under the table from his agent. I was like, are you crazy? You don't tell the clients to put their own money into it. And I said, well, I'm going to show him how to make this really low budget. He won't have a risk in it. And he did a favor to Billy Bob in that movie, and by that point, Sling Blade was a big hit. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm going to get Billy Bob to do the favor back to him, which he did in The Apostle, and he'll never lose a dollar on this movie. And Duvall made the movie, and I ended up selling that movie in America for $5 million. And then, of course, the rest was foreign as well. So that was a huge success for him, too. And it really created a fantastic business inside the agency of people coming to me one after the other saying, okay, come on, what's the magic? How do we do this? Right. How do we do this? And, and it really, we were, by the end, I was there for 15 years. And by the end, we were working on 20 movies a year and bringing films to here, to Toronto, to Sundance, to Cannes, selling international before we made the movies, raising tax credits, raising equity, getting gap financing, bringing people into the business that weren't really in the business, bringing rich people in who wanted to be in the business too, putting them into deals with each other, and then selling the American rights at these film festivals, and it created a massive business out of it. I mean, The Apostle was sold here in a very famous story at the Toronto Film Festival in whatever it was, 96, 97, something like that, and which you can read about in Peter Biskin's book. There's a whole chapter on how I sold the movie, but it's terrifying. It's one of the scariest stories, and I always tell young agents, read that, because that'll give you a feel for what this business can be like if you have any illusions. It's all just glamour and fun. It's not. Mm-hmm. And I got into the hairiest night of my entire life and came out of it winning. But it was probably the gnarliest 8 hours of my life. Wow.